With the development of the world in different aspects, we can see that humankind has become somewhat servants of the technology prevailing. From morning to night, and night to day, people work like bees consuming themselves to earn money. Daily expenses have risen up to the sky level, where only the topmost billionaires would spend some quality and relaxed time with their families, while others have to work so hard to make a living. Such busy people do not have time to spend with their kids or parents. Even though they say that they earn for their family, have they ever thought what their little kids really want? They need love and protection from their parents, not from outsiders. But in today's world, children are also more responsive to technology than the surrounding. Therefore, the parents find it easy to keep their children under a guidance of a babysitter or in a daycare center, which will help them continue with their work throughout the day. Babysitters are really a helpful source of labor, until they keep up with their promise and guarantee the protection of kids. But it is so hard to find such protective and caring babysitters these days. We can find many stories which reported about child harassment and abusive acts by so-called babysitters from all around the world. Not all the babysitters are horrible. Some babysitters may have not passed with special qualifications, but they know how to deal with kids in their own ways. They only need to think as a kid to look after a kid. So today we have found a story about a creative babysitter who found an easy way to look after a toddler and made her own future through an idea sprinted while looking after the kid. Before starting, make sure you've subscribed to our channel and hit the bell icon to be notified with our latest updates. Claudia Sorrentino is a single mom who lives in Florida with her younger daughter Ava. Both of them love each other so much that Claudia always tried her best to stay with her adorable daughter. But as little Ava grew up, the daily expenses of the family rose up to a level where Claudia had to work overtime. It was still manageable until little Ava started preschooling, and that made their expenses rise even more. Claudia did not want to spend a lot of time at the office, but she had to keep the girl at the preschool even after the school ended to earn money for their living. She did not know what to do or how to make up with both work and her daughter at the same time. She became very busy and she had to move out on the instant, where she was called by the company with just a simple mail. There were days that she had to stay away from home, and at those times, she found someone to look after her daughter. But it was not a good idea to keep the little girl at others' places, therefore, she thought of recruiting a babysitter whom she can trust on looking after her daughter while she was away. She did not want to bother her relatives, as she thought that they also had their own busy schedules. But at least she found out someone she thought that might be reliable. It was Claudia's sister's suggestion that the little girl could be kept under Jan, her niece. Claudia's past memories with babysitters were not that much positive. Therefore, she was not sure about anybody except for her own relatives. Her sister had told her that Anne also looked after some other kids lately, and she can trust her. Even though she had a slight experience, Claudia was not much sure, as Anne was still 15 years of age. She thought that it would be hard for her to look after a toddler. The two choices that Claudia had was to let Anne look after Ava for the weekend, or else skip the business trip and risk her only job. Even though she did not want to, she called Anne the day before, and she arrived early in the morning, which was a good sign. But still, Claudia had a bad feeling. She gave Anne all the details about the babies, including her food, diapers, milk, and she even jotted down the emergency numbers and the numbers which are necessary in a sudden situation. Anne promised to look after the baby and said to trust her with all the work these 2 days. Claudia kissed the little girl goodbye and left for the airport, where she had to put her phone into flight mode. Then, she started preparing herself for the meeting, but her mind slipped away every single time she thought about Ava. Hours passed and she was very anxious to switch her phone and call Anne, but she had to endure for a few more hours until the plane landed. Her mind was full of thoughts. She was thinking, what might her daughter be doing right now? Had she eaten? Is she crying? Has something unexpected happened to her? And on the other side, the plane was full of passengers that their bodies touched each other during the whole trip. She was so stressed that she felt like she couldn't breathe. She even loosened up her collar buttons, as she thought that she might catch claustrophobia. This situation made her more worried about Ava at home. Finally, the crew announced that the plane was about to land, and asked the passengers to fasten their seatbelts. With a bump, the airplane landed, and the first thing Claudia did after getting out of the airplane was switch on her phone. She waited a few seconds for the messages to load, but it felt like hours to her. Finally, the messages which she was eagerly waiting appeared in front of her phone screen. It was a message from Anne, which had a thumbnail attached to it. Claudia was anxious to see what her niece had sent her. With a stressful mind, Claudia opened the thumbnail and saw something unbelievable. It was Ava's picture, but it did not seem right with her legs. The little legs seemed to be swollen a lot. The message sent by the babysitter, Anne, was not clear enough, where she only said, but she was hungry and found an easy way to both look after Ava and make the sandwich at the same time, with a photo of the baby with large, swollen legs. Claudia was terrified on the spot and could not think of anything. She had never seen the pants that the baby was wearing and thought that some allergy may have caused this swelling. Her mind was running with different thoughts, and her fingers ran across the keypad and dialed up 911, where she called the authorities and told that her daughter might be in danger. Knowing nothing about Claudia's panic situation, Anne was doing a great job. The authorities clarified the situation to Claudia, and later Anne sent some clearer photos of what really happened with the baby. These photos made Claudia burst into laughter and ease her tension. What Anne just did was what her aunt told her to do, to keep an eye on baby Ava every second. It was hard for her to both make a sandwich for herself and look after the baby. Therefore, she made a solution to the problem. She chose a particularly large set of pants and made a kangaroo pouch out of it where she could keep the baby comfortably just near her. The first photo Anne sent to her aunt was only the latter part, where the baby was inside the large pants, so Claudia could not figure out what really happened with the baby girl. The photos, which were sent later, was clear enough for Claudia to identify the situation. She started to laugh every time when she saw those pictures. She wanted to applaud Anne for her creativity, and she also wanted everyone to know about Anne's new creation. Claudia posted the pictures which Anne sent to her on Facebook with the caption, "Creativity at its finest." All the people who saw this post did not forget to keep a comment on this lovely photo. They also praised this 15-year-old little babysitter's creativity. This funny and adorable picture became viral, and many people found this as an effective way to look after kids when they are busy with other work. At least, Claudia found a reliable babysitter for her daughter, whom she could entrust her daughter when going on more business trips. Most of the comments on this photo were asking whether Anne has more of these creative pants, which she could sell them for a good price. It became a cheaper alternative for an expensive baby carrier. These comments let Anne venture her own entrepreneurship at her young age itself. She thought of producing and marketing a new product called J-Pants, which she thought would be a hip product which can compete with many expensive baby carriers. She needed funds to start up this business, and her Aunt Claudia was the first step for her to gain these funds. They started a crowdfunding event by posting the story and the product details in GoFundMe's website, where many people wanted to fund the great product. Even though this product will be a great help and support for all the moms and babysitters around the world, therefore, they praised and commented positively for this funding. They said this funding is still going on, and they have gained around $215 so far, and many followers had promised to donate in the near future. So that is the end of today's story, where the saying, "Those who do not think outside the box are easily contained," is proven by Anne's creativity and outstanding work. With this story, we can tell that the kids these days find many easy and reliable ways to find solutions for their daily problems. The advancement in technology is a huge help for these creative and inventive ideas, where those innovative people can share their stories and products in different social media platforms for other people around the world to see. And from that, they can obtain funds of helpful people and can also spread their abilities. So, do not stay shiftless. Just grab your own chance to become a worldwide known entrepreneur of your own ideas today itself, because success is not for the lazy. Before going, make sure you've subscribed to our channel and hit the bell icon to be notified with our latest updates. See you in our next video.